Today I want to do something that feels quite vulnerable, but I think it'll be useful, so I'm going to do it and hope that I don't regret it later. I am going to share my self-review with you. Writing a self-review is part of our performance review process at ConvertKit. There's like a series of questions that you answer and then your manager answers the same questions and you compare them and see if you're aligned on like what your wins were over the past 6 months, what areas you need to grow in over the next 6. It's my hope that in sharing this, maybe you can learn something about how to reflect on your own performance and how you're doing in your role and the areas you might want to grow in. Or maybe you're just watching this because you're nosy, and that is okay too. Okay, let's start before I change my mind. So the first question is, overall, how well did you deliver against your projects and delivery dates in the last 6 months? And this is one where you like pick from 4 options. Either you say you set a new standard, you consistently exceeded expectations, you consistently met expectations, or they need improvement. And we're starting off with a bang, and I'm saying my delivery needs improvement. I'm in a really interesting situation as creative director at ConvertKit where I'm in like a player coach role. So I'm not solely a manager and like enabling the people on my team to do their work and to do it well. There's also work that I need to be doing myself in ways that I need to personally contribute to projects in the same way an IC might. And I found myself missing several deadlines for those sort of like IC type projects because I was prioritizing the like manager work, enabling my team, etc., which I think was the right choice, but I still need to find a way to either do both well or not take on so much of the IC work myself. I tend to be overly optimistic when it comes to timelines, and that is what causes a situation like this where I'm saying that my delivery needs improvement. By the way, I haven't had the portion of my review yet where my manager has reviewed me, and so we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll talk about that in a future vlog. But anyway, let's move on to the next question. Next, I had to highlight 3 areas where I had impact over the last 6 months. So the 3 things that I talked about here is that I did the research and made the decision to bring on Superside as an external partner and like onboard them, ramp them up so that we can be using that resource efficiently. I wrote about developing and iterating on a process to produce motion graphics more regularly, and I made a vlog about producing a campaign video that shared a bit of that process if you want to go watch it. I also talked about ways I contributed to like a manager project where we were defining what a culture of execution is at ConvertKit, and that's something that I collaborated on with Nathan, our CEO. I picked these 3 examples because I wanted to show that like I am operating at a strategic level and I'm adding impact to the overall company as well as to the organization and the team that I'm a part of, to show that I'm like identifying issues like our resource constraints and figuring out ways that we can solve them. And the motion graphics one, that was feedback I had in my last review, is that our manager wanted me to work on being able to produce more of that, and so I wanted to bring that up as an example to show that, hey, I listened and I actioned that feedback. So yes, I was very selective with which examples I chose to use, and that's definitely something that you should do also if you are writing a self-review for yourself. Of course, your self-review is going to be for yourself, whatever. The next question is similar, but it's specifically asking for 3 examples of the ways that you enabled your team to achieve success over the past 6 months. And I won't share specifics of the examples I gave for this for my team's privacy, but mostly I talked about helping my team get aligned between their work and what the business needs from their work, delegating and like knowing where to best spend my energy, and then like mentorship and support to help a team member get a promotion over the past 6 months. Now we get into some more spicy stuff. What are 1 to 2 challenges and 1 to 3 wins you experienced in the past 6 months? The first one that I called out is resource constraints. We've solved a lot of our design resource issues. Not all of them, mind. There's still way more work than we could possibly have time to complete, but I've noticed recently that we're really lacking in writing resource, that is an area that is either slowing us down or we're not able to achieve the standard that I know we can meet because we don't have someone who's like obsessing over that and focusing on it. So I'm saying that as an action item, I want to work on getting a new contractor in that space, since it's no longer like, oh, this would be nice to have, but like it is a blocker. I also put burnout here as a challenge I've been facing. This is something that I brought up in my previous review as well. And so I just wanted to like bring it up again with my manager and say that like I've felt better over the past 6 months than I did like almost all of last year, but I still don't feel recovered, and that's just a reality, and I'm continuing to work on it, but I just wanted him to know that it's a challenge because I think reviews are a good time to bring up this sort of stuff as well. For the wins though, I wrote about conducting a brand awareness survey, the fact that I prioritized this and like made it happen in a small and scrappy way, but we were able to learn from it and understand like a baseline of where our brand perception is at, And obviously as the manager of the brand studio team, it's my job to like measure the success of our work and understand how best to measure it. And so I wanted to bring this up as an example of how I am like actively trying to do this very, very difficult thing. Then another win that I wrote about is one that shows like a way that I've contributed to our organization. We use Monday.com for our project planning, and I introduced this capacity view where we like rank the number of days approximately that we think something will take to get done. And then we can see on a chart like, okay, this is the number of days we have in the month, and this is the number of days of work planned, and we can identify like who is over capacity, who might have some space for us to add in a project or like take action on a new idea. It's something that I knew my team needed, and I introduced it to the rest of the growth leadership team as well, and now we use it as part of our monthly planning. Next question. Over the last 6 months, what are 1 to 2 things you excelled at that you should continue to do? And for this question in particular, we need to reference either our like role matrix, so it's like the expectations for the behaviors and competencies we have in our role at our level, or the definition of the culture of execution that I helped work on, or reference our company values in the answer. So I wrote that I excelled at initiating and facilitating conversations around complex issues. I think that I am a really integral part of the growth leadership team in those meetings, like bringing up discussion points, helping us to like talk about these issues that we're all facing as an organization together, and that me speaking up about those things has led to us being in a better place with our planning and like being in alignment around campaigns and things. So I just wanted to like pat myself on the back for that. And then I also put prioritization here because I feel like I've done a really good job of ensuring that my team is focused on the right things, and that I've struck a really good balance over the past 6 months of making sure that other teams have their needs met and that we're creating all the assets that they need, but we're also prioritizing stuff we know we need to do to improve our brand as well. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what my manager pulls out as the things that I excelled in related to the performance matrix or our culture of execution. It's really easy when you get a performance review to focus in on the critical feedback, but I really want to make sure, and this is like a reminder to myself and to you, to pay attention to what your manager is saying that you're doing well, because with any critical feedback, you should assume that they also want you to continue doing the things you're already excelling at. It's just nice to see where those efforts are being recognized, you know. Anyway, there's just a few more questions left. Another one of our like scale of 4 options to answer on is based on your work and contributions, how well did you overall perform in your role? And for this, I said that I consistently met expectations. I am an overachiever, and so I did not like having to put this answer. I would much prefer to be in the like higher ranges, but I think it's the reality, especially given my like missing some deadlines on the IC work. We've also entered like a new phase of the company at the moment. We're like taking it up a notch. We're really stepping up with our product, with our operations, like how we work together as a team. And I know that I have work to do to clearly set those expectations for my team and to define what it means to truly excel as a brand studio team. I feel pretty fired up about it though, and I feel really motivated to like in 6 months' time when we're doing our next review to be able to mark that I exceeded expectations. Are you working towards a promotion right now? I said, no, I'm not. I just had a promotion last year. I got moved up to a level 4 in our manager matrix. I know that on the manager track, and especially with a jump from a level 4 to level 5, with the way our roles work, it's a pretty big jump. Like you need to significantly grow in order to reach it. But that said, I always want to be growing and like working towards something. Otherwise, what am I doing here? And so I've said that I'm focusing my areas of development based on what I've seen as the competencies and behaviors needed for level 5, because I want to start working towards that level of promotion in 2024. I really like this question in our reviews because it gives a good chance to like check in on that and have that conversation with your manager, and also like to check in with yourself and say like, okay, am I wanting to work towards a promotion yet? Do I feel like I'm in that phase of growth? Second to last question is, over the next 6 months, what are 1 to 2 things you can improve on or get additional coaching on? And again, we're supposed to reference our performance matrix or definition of values, culture of execution here, which by the way, I really like that framing because it gives you some constraints to think within rather than having to like think generally about where you want to improve. You can like look at this list of competencies and pick a few from that. So I have said that my 2 areas for focus are long-term brand strategy. I think that I've been really focused on the operations of our team and making sure we're like running smoothly, having the resources we need, and not putting enough focus on what are we working towards in the longer term. I have a pretty clear understanding of where the overall company is going to go in the coming years. So now I need to do some work on how our brand is going to grow along with it, and like what needs to change about our perception, the way we do our work in order to meet those company goals. And then I said I want to prioritize improvements to our marketing site, getting access to data, looking for opportunities for improvement, improvement, making hypotheses, running tests. We're starting to like get into a better cadence with this, and I want that to continue and to like ramp up even more. And I know that the design system work that I started a series on and haven't made many episodes in because I haven't made much progress, but that will be a part of this as well. So I picked one more like strategic area for growth and one more tactical one. And then the last question is, what 3 initiatives at the team, org, or company level do you want to have an impact on in the next 6 months? So the 3 things I picked, because obviously I want to have an impact on more than that, but I like that they limited it to 3. We're going to be running a campaign around how ConvertKit is made for creators by creators. I think it's a key differentiator for us in the market of email marketing software. The fact that we were started by a creator, that we very much have creators at the heart of everything we do. I know that as a brand team, we can bring a lot of value by making sure that is absolutely known and like deeply understood by creators that ConvertKit is for creators by creators. How many times can I say creators? Another initiative I wrote about is product marketing systems. The marketing team, and especially our product marketing manager, is doing a fantastic job of streamlining our like honestly what feels sometimes chaotic campaign efforts so that there's like a level and we all know like, okay, this is a campaign and it's gold level, so that means we need to create this many assets, this type of landing page, etc. And I know that I can really tie into that and lean into it from the brand design system side to make sure that we can run just as smoothly as well. And it's a great chance to like level up the collaboration we have across brand and marketing, because that is very important. And then the last thing that I wrote about is that I want to contribute to our company strategy for 2024. This was something else that came up in a previous review of mine, was that my manager said they wanted to see me having more input at that company level. And so I wanted to recognize, hey, I see you like asking for this and wanting me to contribute in this way. And so I'm setting it as a goal for an initiative that I want to contribute to when we start to get into doing our 2024 planning. So that's my review. I think overall, I've had a good past 6 months. I've worked through some chaos. I've made things feel a lot calmer, I think, on our team through the systems that I've been focusing on setting up. But that's focus has kind of come at the expense of some like personal deadlines of projects that I needed to work on, and the like longer term strategy stuff that I kind of sacrificed that for the sake of spending a lot more time in like design operations mode. I'm okay with that, but I'm recognizing that is a choice I made, and maybe if I had de-scoped some things or had better systems set up previously, I wouldn't have been in this situation. And so I think it's important to critique it. And as I mentioned as I went through this as well, I really tried to use examples that either hit on feedback I knew I'd received in the past, or like provide a variety of examples that showed me contributing to like an individual on my team, the team as a whole, the org as a whole, the company as a whole, so that I can show that I'm operating at all those different levels when I need to. Performance reviews are such a great time to advocate for yourself. At ConvertKit, it's not like a time where you ask for a raise or something like that. Raises come with promotions, which like I said, there can be quite a big leap between levels, or they come when we update our standardized salary data. So that's not going to be the result of this. Honestly, the result of this performance review is just like getting alignment with my manager. But even still, it's a time to advocate for yourself, to highlight your strengths, and to show that you understand what is expected for you in your role and the ways in which you're meeting those expectations. I was really nervous at the start of this video, but as I went through, I was like, no, all of this feedback I'm giving myself is valid, and I'm not embarrassed about having areas that I still need to grow in and like admitting those things to you. I hope that in hearing this, maybe it gave you some pointers of things you can consider the next time you're writing your own performance review. If that process is coming up for you as you're watching this, then good luck, you got this. If you want to learn more about how I got past the resources challenges that we've been facing, and that was like a major point of feedback in my previous review, then go check out this video here about outsourcing and why you should probably be doing it too if you're also part of a very small design team. Thanks for watching.